go on there. So we're live now. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning?
Good morning. It is morning.
Okay.
It's almost good morning, afternoon, good evening. I guess, it's an international thing. So wherever you are, let me do it this way. Just give us a moment. We're letting people log in and do the thing, and we're gonna share it on our page. Give us a moment. We're letting people log in and do the thing, and we're gonna share it on our page. So then you're going to share on that thing, and then share to a page, and on your page that you want to. Oh yeah, sorry people, we don't mean to ignore you.
I'm causing problems with mine. I can't do it.
What do you mean you can't do it?
It's making all sorts of weird noise. Hi guys, what's happening? We're having fun. We're trying to do something new, as usual.
Oh, you joined. It says you joined.
I joined. Randy joined. Anybody else going to join us this morning?
No, he's got dogs barking.
I got dogs barking. So I don't want it.
Good morning. It's morning.
I don't want it.
I think Randy's struggling.
I'm done. I'll share it later.
Questions. Okay, you share it later. I'm sharing it now. Post. Yay. So then I just share. Can I do it here?
Hello. Is anybody out there?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You know who we are. You know what we're up to today. We're having some interesting, Randy and I were just having a really kind of hot, heated conversation.
No, it's just what we always do.
We challenge each other.
I look at things in I used to look at things in a very complicated way. Now I look at things as they are. And there's a lot of things that they are, but there's a lot of pieces to what they are. And so I'm learning to uncomplicate my life. And Topeka's trying to complicate it again.
According to him. Really?
So we're trying to collaborate, as one would say. Find the middle ground, which we do always find.
Then it go live on your Change Your Life story. Did you want to put on Randy too?
Yeah, put it on. All the crazy see there somewhere. Put it on my main page. That one right there.
Yeah, that one.
Hello, good morning.
So I guess today, my friends, we're going to be talking about
manipulation, because you manipulate me all the time, and denial, because I live in denial, and not the river. Where's everybody at?
Did you see? Okay, I did it.
Okay.
Did it. So I don't know how many of you got to join in or watch our last conversation about secrets and lies. That was the one that we were talking about last week, and how we build on secrets and lies, and how we build our life full of secrets and lies. And they usually start off very, very small from a young age, that we share with, as parents. Our parents have shared with us, our friends have shared with us, our mentor, I guess our elders have shared with us, just because of behaviors that they've learned. And just little things like, oh, don't tell that person that we're going to do such thing, or don't tell that we're going to do, or that I'm at home, or whatever that might be. But from those little things, we're telling our children that it's okay to say little lies, little white lies, and they build up over time when we're not aware of them. So today's conversation would be around manipulation, denial and manipulation. But before we go into that, remember, we want you to ask us questions. We're here to answer your questions. This is a place where it's safe to talk. Okay, it's okay to have difference of opinion, as we sometimes learn ourselves. And just we want to give you a new perspective on things. So like our page, Love Your Life Story. Follow us, question us. This will be a conversation that will approximately last about an hour or something like that. And we'll kind of go from there. So Rodrigo, thank you for joining us. Welcome. Do you know Rodrigo?
No, hi Rodrigo. How are you today? You know Rodrigo?
I don't know Rodrigo.
Well, welcome, Rodrigo. Glad you're here.
I just know him from Facebook. But
Cool.
thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So as you all know, we're life coaches and personal development consultants. We work with local facilities out here, helping people to overcome their own, how would you class it as?
Hurts, hang-ups, and habits, their own problems, or addictions, or their past. We all have a past, and
we all have a story.
Yeah, we all have a story.
But some of us don't like our story that we have. So what we're kind of bringing it to is how can we love our story and grow from there.
That story is, our stories are why we are the way we are today. And for a long time, our stories and the way we became worked very well for us. And then for some reason, somewhere along the line, they quit working. So that's when it's time to take a look at ourselves instead of everybody else around us. Time to come out of denial, time to quit manipulating people, to do what we want and start looking what we can do to make our life better instead of looking outward.
More manageable.
More manageable and better. And
so we don't blame others. We take responsibility of what's going on, irrelevant of situations. Yes, I do understand that sometimes we can't control what other people do, but what we can do is, see where we're controlling and manipulating and denying things, and then choose from a place of consciousness and truth, and step forward so we're not overwhelmed by pain and discomfort that we really don't want, but we continue to be in that place. So if you've joined and watched any of our videos before, I highly recommend that you watch our previous videos where we talk a little bit more about the living in the sea of uncomfortableness and how that actually looks, because uncomfortableness, we keep on being there even when we don't like to be there, because we don't like the other uncomfortable of the unknown. And I think that's what it's okay to have the unknown uncomfortableness rather than live in the sea of uncomfortableness.
Well, it's the unknown uncomfortableness that keeps us stuck in the sea.
Yeah.
And the unknown uncomfortableness is a short-term uncomfortableness that, as long as we continue on the journey and don't dive back into the sea of uncomfortableness, our life will get tremendously better. Topeka doesn't even know me 12 years ago, but my wife does, and there's some other people. My wife's best friend, she knows me from before 12 years ago before I got sober, and the way I used to be. I wasn't a pleasant person. I thought I was. I thought I was all that. I thought I was charismatic and nice and caring about me. I treated my family fairly well. I had issues towards the end, but I was sad. I was broken inside. I was angry. I was full of resentment and pissed off at the world all the time. And carrying around, I had this chain of unforgiveness tied to me that was just choking me to death. And I know people hate that word forgiveness, but it's one of the keys to true freedom and happiness is when we can come to a place of forgiveness with the people that have harmed us in ways that are unimaginable. When I got to that place, and I truly have got to that place, my life became free and happy like I've never experienced it before. Yeah, I still have problems. I mean, Topeka and I, we talk a lot. There's a lot of issues I deal with still, and it's a result of my past, but at least I know how to work through them, and I don't have to carry around a resentment no more. When I get angry, it's generally angry at a situation, not at a person, because the people are just broken people, and there's nothing. They're not hurting me intentionally. A lot of people don't even think they're hurting me, but it's just their words, the manipulative words a lot of people use. So I've got tools that I can work my way out of some of the pain that I fall into from time to time. Sometimes it happens quickly. Sometimes I go through seasons where it just seems like I'm, you know. I mean, I've been through one now for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. I just can't seem to get my energy back. So. But I just keep going forward. I have to make the choice, as we all do every morning. What am I going to do today to make my life easier, make my life better? What choice do I make today so that I can continue moving forward instead of going backward? And that's a choice we all got to make. I don't lie about it. I'm not in denial about where I'm at. You know, I talk about it. And as men, especially as men, and I know women, as I've discovered the last couple of years, but I just heard this the other day. I was talking to my pastor. He goes, "Well, you know, men are, society tells men you can't be talking about certain things." I go, "Yeah, you're right. You can't talk about your feelings, your emotions. You know, you can't. If you've got a weakness, don't talk about that." Well, women, on the other hand, they got to look like they have it all together, even though they don't. They can't be talking about, you know. So,
yeah, because they're supposed to, you know, run a household.
Right. So what do? We live in denial. Most of our lives, we're living in denial.
And then the women who do talk about it, they're known as maybe bitches, or they're not got their shit together, or, you know, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I guess if I was looking at my cultural perspective, yeah, it would be a woman that doesn't have her stuff together and she can't handle what's going on in her own household. But the likelihood is that she's not with the right support system.
Right.
So absolutely, you know, there is definitely a part of it that I think it's not. I don't think it's a man or woman thing.
No, it's and like I say, well, of course, the last couple of years and talking with. I work with both men and women. I mean, it was the societal rules for men because nobody wants to talk about the men issues. No, men don't want to talk about, hey, I was abused as a child. I was molested as a child. You know, if I showed my weakness, I was told, you know, that I wasn't a man. If I cried, I'll give you something to cry about. So you got the crap beat out of you more and more. And so, you know, so men are there. You know, women face the same issues, just on a different level. I mean, it's a different level. It's not, you know. So that's why we live in denial. And by living in denial, we got this pain that we're carrying around, a lot of us. And so one of our coping mechanisms, I believe, is we become very manipulative.
Right.
You know, I can remember in business myself acting like, I mean, the way I conduct a business sometimes, I was very manipulative, like a 12-year-old kid trying to get his way. Right. I mean, so. It's tough growing up in today's world. We're taught to keep secrets, taught not to talk about how we feel, not to talk about our fears. We all have them. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. But yet we're denied those feelings and emotions. We wonder what's wrong with the world.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is not about opinion. I think because I think what's happening is we're becoming very opinionated as a nation of the stuff that's going on in the world. But you know, and I think the opinion is a denial, because then we will break, or we will terminate, or we will condemn people for having their thoughts, their own belief systems. But I think this is not about, I don't think this is about having the opinion. I think, because I think people misunderstand or because they manipulate, because of their opinion, they manipulate situations, and again, deny people because of their opinions.
And where their opinions come from.
Right. Well, again,
and everybody's allowed an opinion.
Absolutely.
I think that the deal with it, people will take your opinion and take it defensively. And the reality is, like I say, everybody's allowed to have an opinion. So what we have to learn how to do in life, instead of trying to manipulate the other person to believe the way you believe, is agree to disagree. Because that's okay. Just because Topeka believes one thing, and we do this a lot. Doesn't always mean I believe it, or maybe she believes it, and I believe it to one extent, and vice versa. It doesn't mean she's right. Doesn't mean she's wrong. Doesn't mean I'm right or I'm wrong. But the old patterns, when people would voice their opinion, I would take it personally, and then I would try to manipulate them to believe in the way that I believe. Yeah, but you don't understand. You don't understand. Don't you look at it this way? It'd be better if you look at it this way. And I've learned over the last, it's taken me 12 years of work, but I'm learning to a person's opinion is an opinion, and to have a healthy conversation around those opinions is actually quite stimulating and it can be fun at times instead of defensive and hurtful.
I think you can see it. I think it can be fun all the time, but sometimes I think if you can laugh at yourself, in the kindest way. I'm not saying laugh at yourself as you messed up or something, but if you can laugh at yourself in the kindest way, I think a childlike humor, not mean childlike humor.
Childlike humor, right? This is childlike humor.
Yeah.
Be able to. If you can't laugh at yourself, then you're living an uptight life. I mean, laugh at yourself. And a lot of us weren't allowed to make mistakes growing up. If we made a mistake, we were kicked while we were down, we were called names, we were called stupid. You can never do nothing right, you'll never amount to nothing, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the story goes on and on and on. And so when we make a mistake, we can't laugh at ourselves. There's some serious stuff going on. I made a mistake. Now, everything that was said about me as a child is true. Everything that was said about me as a child is true. But the reality is nothing that was said about you as a child is true. Hurt people, and our parents are only coming from a place of pain, or maybe pain is not the right word, but they were only coming from a place of what they learned, what was done to them. So it's a generational thing that gets handed down from generation to generation. Again, there goes a point where just because it was done to you doesn't mean it's right to do it to other people.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you and I talk about it all the time. I'll sit with people, I say, well, look, when your father was beating you, how did you feel? Well, hey, I'm good. No. When your father was beating you, go back to that 7, 8, 9-year-old kid. When your father or your mother were beating you, calling your names, how did you feel inside?
It's a big question.
And they would sing. They would sing. I felt like crap. I felt like an idiot. Well, then, do you want your children to feel that way today? Do you want your employees to feel that way? Do you want your coworkers to feel that way today? Why do we have to manipulate and belittle people to prove that we're right? It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes.
Okay.
Just typing some questions, and
that we're going to go through, but just so when you go
right
back into it, you can read it. And I think it's just really valuable questions that sometimes, everything that Randy just shared, I really appreciate you sharing what you shared. And, I think, we're always trying to talk about, extremes, but, in Randy's case, I was never, I was abused in some, physical abuse, violence, but, but
I'll get out of denial.
No, exactly. So I was, but it's come in different ways, in different waves from different people as experiences. But it can be as simple as, okay, Randy just sharing whether it's being hit, but words are very powerful too, and they're really, and I just remember in my childhood, it was the words that bothered me more as an individual than the physical part of it. The physical part of it, I was kind of like, you can hit me all you like, and I can deal with that, but don't hurt me with those, those things of I'm not good enough. That's what would leave me in a state of just no self-worth and no. I think pain. I mean, even like right now, I think I feel my eyes tearing up because just sitting into it, that thought of when they would say that, it was like, why would they say that about me? When it wasn't true.
Well, words cut to the soul.
They really
do. Where a hit, fist, just leaves a bruise. That's physically painful.
Right.
But the words, I think the emotional abuse is the worst abuse that's out there. And that's That's another form that people, when we talk about the first question is, where does denial and manipulation begin? It's with ourselves. It begins with that emotional pain that we hold on to, that we say, no, it's not that painful. It's just part of growing up. I'm okay. Well, you're okay. You scream and yell at everybody you know. You beat,
you play up, you're acting up. Yeah, you're acting up.
Bigger than you are.
Or even smaller than you. I mean,
Well,
it's either extreme, right? It's like, I just know, like, myself. I think from when you shared just your life experiences and where you've been at, I was different from me. I had severe self-confidence issues. So when it came to really showing up and doing the things that I wanted to do, I wouldn't show up that way.
Right.
The confidence wasn't there, and I think self-esteem, self-value wasn't there. For me, it was in that sense, and I denied everything. I denied my truth of being who I really need to be because of that. Not just deny. Obviously you've got the list of the denial kind of patterns that one has.
Right.
But I think I just denied the fact of who I was, and I was not, because of the self-worth belief or the patterns that I had. And then because of that, I manipulate situations. Unknowingly.
Unknowingly is a key word. And that is a key word.
Yeah.
Because even in my situation, it's successful in life with my business and everything that I did, but the self-confidence was there. Believe me, I don't know how I would be successful as I am, but it was unknowingly, because we're not saying that people sit here and do this. They wake up every morning and they scheme out their whole day, how they're going to be harmful to people, and they're going to do this. It's at a subconscious level. It's just over years of growing up and being around different people. I wasn't the only one that was hurt, so I was surrounded by hurt people. So I was mimicking, not only what my stepfather and mother did to me, but what other people were doing. And so it's unknowingly. I'm not sitting there. I'm not, at heart, we're not bad people. I believe that every single one of us are born pure and with love.
With good intentions.
I believe that.
I always say to my clients, it's like one of the things I was saying, like, but intentions are intentions, but then still there's a next step forward. Because I think everybody has, one of the things, like, for example, if you've been, when you've been in a relationship or when you were dating back in the day, Randy, I know that's what I said back in the day, right? But when you dating somebody, and then people will say to you, "Oh, I'm never gonna hurt you," and I'm like, bullshit, right? No, because that's just not. It's not even a reality. It's not a reality, right? And you have to realize that. So people are saying that, then be ready to be manipulated, because that's where that hurt comes from. Like that you cannot, a partnership like that doesn't come without the hurt, because hurt comes from the ego part, right? Of I am right, why am I not hurt? Why am I? So everything that goes up, everything that becomes defensive, comes from the ego part, and just really able to understand where that comes from, I would say. What do you think about that?
Rephrase the question for me.
It wasn't a question.
Statement.
Why do you do that?
It happens to me once in a while. I got this alcoholic brain fart, and I just had one. I heard everything you said, but I got lost.
Now I got lost. So I was just saying, why do you do that to me, right?
Why I do it to myself? That's the question I want to know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it.
We're
talking about manipulation, right?
Not about manipulation, but
see, we're not perfect. Okay, we don't have a problem saying we're not perfect. We make mistakes.
We're kind of, because it's just like Randy started off the conversation, right? We can keep it really simple, and the conversation, where does denial and manipulation start from or begin, right? It's a simple question,
right? And
it's a simple answer. But then when we start going deeper into it, and that's, I guess, where we were just having as a conversation, deeper, right? We're going a little bit deeper, and then even then, it's still, a lot of work.
So it's just a lot. It's hard. It's hard to keep it real. This is a subject that's hard to keep simple because it is a complicated situation. It's a deep situation. All right, because we're talking about
Multiple. Yeah.
multiple. So denial, where does it start from? Well, and manipulation. If we're denying our own truth, then we're trying to manipulate everybody.
Do you want to give them a couple of examples of denial?
We could.
You know, what a denial pattern looks like.
We'll give you some. This is what a denial pattern looks like. But it bothers me. I brain fart. I'm just telling you right now.
It's okay. It's all right.
It just
Hey, but
bothers me. They ain't nobody watching anyways. Did I say that?
Oh, you're saying that, but they're gonna watch it later on.
I know
So
they're
you
gonna
know,
watch it later
you know.
on.
So it's just sometimes things come through me,
Oh,
and now you're asking me to talk, and I'm completely gone blank myself
So
because we went on way up another conversation.
So, okay, here's some denial patterns, okay, for yourself. Now, look, we don't want you to look at other people and what they're not denying. This is about us. This is about you. What are denial patterns within ourselves that are causing us pain? Okay, that we have difficulty identifying what you're feeling. Hey, how you feeling today? I'm fine. No, how are you feeling? Fine's not a word.
I want to know.
I want to know. How are you feeling? Yeah. Can you say it's happy, sad, or you don't know? I don't know. All I know is fine.
And I guess, you know, there's a time, you know, like, you know, of course, you're not going to answer that to every single person that calls, you know, oh, do you really want to know how I'm feeling? I will tell you what I'm feeling. You know, that's not what we're saying. You know, part of it will be there's a time and a place to really acknowledge.
Well, I think, well, I'll do the next question because they go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Please do.
I want to clear on that. It says they minimize, alter, deny how they truly feel. Okay, so Tavika just said, you know, when you go up to some, how you feeling? Well, you really want to know? You go on for a half hour about how you feel. Okay, there's two different ways to answer this. One with somebody, hey, how you doing today? Hey, you know what, my life's beautiful, but you know, I'm struggling with a couple things today, but I'm working on it. Okay, and then if you're working with the PQI as coaches or whatever, say, what's going on? How you feeling today? Well, Randy, this is what's going on. Then that's a time that you can go on about how you're feeling because we're here to listen to you, all right? Or if you have a mentor or somebody that really, really cares and really wants to hear, then you go on and you talk about how you're feeling in the hopes that that person will give you some guidance and give you some assurance and say, okay, well, why do you think you're feeling that way? What's going on in your life? You're not just feeling crappy to feel crappy, emotionally or spiritually, or you know, sometimes physically you just got a bug, but there's something going on in your life. And wouldn't it be nice if you could figure out what that something was so that you didn't have to continue feeling crappy?
But yeah, not being able to acknowledge how you're feeling, or not able to articulate, I would say the articulation.
Right.
Because the articulation of what you're really feeling gives you freedom. I know if I go back into my days of not being able to articulate and how I can articulate my emotions and refer from the I statements rather than the you statements, I can actually really create space for say my truth, you know, with individuals without getting people's backs up, or you know when we manipulate situations because we don't want to hurt somebody, for example, right? You know, and it could be an extreme situation to a small situation. But if I can articulate in a way where I can come from the I statements and look at, you know, be truthful to myself, I then say, you know, hey Randy, you know, this is how I feel, and this situation is leaving me feeling in such a way. It doesn't, you know, then it comes from a different place, you know, and it comes from a different self-evaluation, I guess, you know, self-understanding.
For as an example, real life example, with me, that happened to me, and I shared this with you before, is one of the women in our leadership group at one point, and I didn't know that because we're just going around, everything's cool, but she spoke up in a meeting one time because they felt safe, they could speak up. And she says, Randy, you really, you know, I have a hard time with you. Being around you bothers me. Wow. I go, why? She goes, well, it's not you. You just remind me of my brother.
Wow.
Right? And she was speaking her truth. And so my response to her was, hey, I'm sorry to hear that. What can I do to make you feel more comfortable? What can I do to make you feel more comfortable around me? because I don't want you feeling uncomfortable. You're one of our leaders here. I want to make sure you're comfortable. And just the fact that she was able to speak up and tell me she felt uncomfortable because I reminded her of her brother, that's all she needed to do.
It's freedom.
It's freedom. That's it. Why did she do that? Because she felt safe with me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that's.
And she got hurt.
She got hurt.
Right? She got hurt, and she got to acknowledge. She got to acknowledge that was a trigger for her, but she surpassed it by speaking her truth.
Right. When that's. I firmly believe, and I know you're right on this too, that every human being needs that affirmation in their life. They need to be heard. Above all else, they don't need to be told what they need to do. They don't need to be told how to be fixed. What all human beings need is to be heard.
And we're not here to fix you. The reason we're not having this conversation to fix you. We're having this conversation.
She's so broke. No, I'm kidding.
Things that are working for them.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. We're both broke still. So.
I think it's like one of those things. I think even in the sense of being broke, I mean, even that dialogue of being broke, but I'm still lovable.
It's still lovable. It doesn't matter.
I have my experience, but I'm still loving.
Right.
And I'm still loved, right? I think, rather than feeling, I think back, 10 years ago, if I, in realizing that I had that hurt and I had that brokenness, I didn't think that I was worthy of anything, and I don't think it's, or maybe even to the other extreme. Okay, I had the issues of, and I think it was subconscious because it was in action, right? It was in, or experiences, whether it be relationships or friendships or whatever. But I think if you go into the other extreme of being, saying that you're broken and it can be, you can have any, so you might then, okay, you're broken, but okay, so I'm gonna have the best job, I'm gonna have the best car, I'm gonna have the best house, I'm gonna have the best and you work it, right? But you still have the hurt and the hang-ups and the
pull the facade away.
Yeah. So it can be in any extreme, I guess. That's what I was trying to.
That was me. What you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I had the cars, had the business, was able to travel, had all this stuff.
You had your wife, you had children, you had all those things.
But pull back the facade, Randy was this extremely broken child.
Right.
That in my eyes, I was so broken. Why would anybody love me?
Right.
I'm dirty. I'm broken. I'm tainted. How can anybody love me?
Right.
That's called the victim.
Right.
And you stay in it.
Right. And I think that's why, it's even with my marriage, when you say that, I think that was part of my subconscious feeling,
mm-hmm.
I would say, going, okay, am I worthy of this?
Right.
Why is he so loving and caring and giving and, puts up with my shit? And I gave him a lot of shit,
You? No.
Me little little angel speaker, I give him, but, and it's that I think that's a realization of, that manipulation, because I didn't see that dark side of me,
mm-hmm.
right? I thought, I said that intention. My intention was to be as good as I could be,
right?
But it wasn't being my truth,
right?
Do you get what I mean? Because it was more from a program,
right?
Rather than
manipulation.
So
manipulating the world that
Yeah, exactly. So it was like even in that I wasn't being my truthful self.
Well, I think it's it's like the example of a sales team. Well, 1 second before I do that, because I'll forget. I don't want to forget.
No, please do.
The lovable, the brokenness of not being lovable. And what you have come to, what I've come to, is that just because a person's broken, the false belief of not being lovable is gone from me and from you. We're lovable and we're liked and we're loved by a lot of people. Both of us are. And our brokenness is what makes us the people we are today. Our brokenness is what allows us to help other people that are struggling.
I think to be rigorously honest, I think, it's like in this conversation, rigorous honesty takes time, right? But if you ask us direct questions, we will be rigorously honest with you.
Right.
And I think, as we're going along through the questions that we kind of just put together for you, and I will be putting it on our feed so you can read them at your own leisure. But that's a part of it, right? Rigorously honesty, but, again, who do you need to be rigorously honest with?
Well, it starts with yourself. Being rigorously honest starts within yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, the reality is you can't be honest with nobody.
And then I want to put on that one, so if you've been rigorously honest with yourself, but now you have shame over what you're being rigorously honest about, then it's about opening your heart up to somebody else that you can trust, that you're not carrying that burden of shame and guilt, because you are human and that was just a part of your programming to behave that way. And you can be forgiving towards yourself, you can be loving and kind towards yourself. And then the minute that you can open yourself up in that way with somebody, now you can choose whether you want to continue doing what you're doing or come from a new place.
And that's where you choose the rock in the sea of the new uncomfortableness, or you're going to come back to this old sea right here of that uncomfortableness, where you know how to live here. You've lived here all your life. You know how to manipulate your way around through here. Right. You know how to deal with situations that come up here, and you can do it well because that's all that you know.
Right, because this is all full of pain, fantasy, joy, love, hurts, hang-ups, teachings, addictions, your past. It's everything in there.
But it's the broken you. And the word broken is, it's to hurt you.
It's to hurt you. It's the I guess you can say the broken you, or it's the programmed you. Yeah. This is all your programming. Right. This is what the things that we do subconsciously. And then we think we do part of it, we think we're doing consciously, but I would say that there's more subconscious stuff that's going on there than conscious. Because when we're conscious, we do things where we're in power and not give our power away. So when we're doing manipulation and we have denial, we are giving our power away. When we're denying something within ourselves or to others, we are giving our power away.
Well, what do we got to be rigorously honest about? What's hurt us in the past? Is it the way a parent treated us? Here's what happens a lot with parents and bosses or whatever. Yeah, but they gave me a house and they gave me a roof over my head and they fed me food. Okay, but why are you so angry at them then? Well, they weren't there for me. Okay, that's what you need to be honest about. They weren't there for me. My dad was never at one of my baseball games. Never came to my recitals. My mom was always busy with her girlfriends doing this social event and that. That's the stuff that we need to be honest about. It's okay if that hurt you, if it did hurt you. And my experience is that most men and women are carrying around a lot of resentment towards their parents that they never want to talk about. What about a boss? What about a co-worker?
A friend, a school friend. It's like that I've shared with you. I know that's how I experienced what I experienced at home. But so because I didn't get what I wanted from home, then I turned to my friends. Peer pressure. So when you're a kid, and then in the kid sense, because of the upbringing that I had and the way they were programmed by their parents, there was always that contradicting factor of, 1 minute they're accepting,
right, and
then the next minute they will look at somebody else and they go by skin color. Like I was saying to you, in England, there was back in the day where they used derogatory terms as such as packy, and so they would see another person of my skin tone, call them that word, and then look at me and go, "Oh, but you're not one of those." So it was a real contradicting in my mind. It was like,
how can you trust anybody?
How can you trust anybody, right?
You can't trust anybody. Yeah. That growing up like that.
Right.
And I know you saw a lot more than what you and I shared. So it'd be really hard to trust those people at all.
Right. Right.
They're saying you're a friend on one hand, but
they're saying what they're saying, and then that's right. That. So really and truly, there's that. So it's not. It's happening with parents, but when we get to see, it's like the law of attraction, I guess. I guess there's a foundation to it, and we need to keep on coming back, but it keeps on going. It comes to this current stage we're experiencing this emotion. But every time we go back, you actually start seeing a pattern.
Right.
Right? Okay, it happens in this, and it's happened in my past relationship with my husband. And then it was, before that it was my friend, and before that it was my school, and then before that it was, you know, my kindergarten, and then before that it was my parents.
So what's the
My
common
brother,
denominator?
What?
What's the common denominator?
Or what?
What
Like-
you just talked about. What's the one common denominator in everything you just went?
I don't know, am I in a slow moment?
You.
Me. Oh, there you go.
So the problem is not your parents. The problem is not your brother. Well, and that will explain that, because they created the problem, but because that goes back to the very first thing, why we are the way we are today. That created us. But now we get to a point in our life where, okay, I got to quit blaming my life on everybody that happened to me.
Right, and that's as an adult we can say that.
As an adult, we say that.
We say that, right?
And some do, some don't.
Well, that's
Some
a
do,
matter
some
of
don't.
the matter of perspective,
Right.
right? Because I think it's because I'm still doing my work, so I'm not, you know, I'm still going through my stuff, and I think I will be going through my stuff for the rest of my life,
Yeah,
right? You know,
yes.
so this is not for me to say that, okay, you know, I've got it all sorted and I'm doing it. But I think, you know, as a child, I mean, what we're teaching, you know, if you're an adult listening to this, what we're teaching is, you know, you've built this kind of life and this kind of way of being over time. And if you have children, the way of your being is affecting your children. If you do not be aware of the things that are holding you back, and whether it's parenting skills or whether it's just relationships with yourself and in your household, there's going to be an impact. But we can only come from, as adults, we can only come from this moment.
From this moment forward.
From moving forward. But for our children, you know, if we have children, we can also, as an adult, allow them to really open up and say their truth.
So, as a parent, what are you teaching your children? Because remember, our children are watching everything we do and listening to everything we say and watching how we act.
And don't do as well, right? Watching everything that we don't do, you know?
And don't do that, absolutely. So if you don't believe that, then you're living in a deep state of denial. Right?
Hi, Eddie!
Was he out there?
Oh, he was out there.
Oh. Eddie Fisher, he's posting all them posts from my ride last year. It's like killing me. It's killing my heart.
The ride's going to happen soon.
I'm hoping to get him up there the first week. We're gonna
Eddie,
do
we're counting on you, Eddie.
with Clear Fork. I'll do whatever it takes, Stitch, whatever it takes to get you up there the first week.
We're counting
We'll
on
just
it.
blast Clear Fork the whole time. Okay.
Do it.
All right.
Anyway, come back.
So look at, here's another one I just read. It's here, I've read it before, but one of the denial patterns is you do not recognize the unavailability of those people to whom they are attracted. So who I am attracted to. So in other words, we're hanging around people and we're pissed off at them all the time because they're never there for us, but yet we keep on going back to them. And why is that? You know, where are we at on our denial stage at that point? Well, you know, they're busy, or, you know, he's got this going, he's got that going. Well, okay, once or twice, but they're never there for you, they're never available for you. That's a big codependent pattern right there. It's like you keep on holding on to this person for some reason, and it's not healthy. I hear you pissed off. Here you are, y'all pissed off at that person again because that girl that keeps on saying she's going to come over and help you out on the social media. She never shows up at you. You keep on calling her thinking something's going to change. Why?
Yeah.
You know, that's a codependent pattern. Well, you know, she does really good work, and I'll just put up with it. Fire her. She's done. Get rid of her. Find somebody else that's available. So,
yeah.
I don't know. So so who do we've only got we got 15 minutes. Okay. So when we talk about this rigorous honesty
So
stuff,
can we go just through the questions and then
That's
just go
where we're
into,
going right
yeah,
now.
so I'm just going to quickly go over the questions. So we've talked
Okay.
about where does denial and manipulation begin? How do we acknowledge that we are living a life of denial and manipulation? Who do we need to be honest with? And rigorous honesty. What does rigorous honesty look like? So we coming to.
well, we're coming to this right now.
Who we hang around with.
Yeah. And so when we talk about this rigorous honesty, first we're rigorously honest with ourselves. Okay, great, Randy. Topeka, now I've been rigorous honest with myself. I caught these issues in my heart. My heart's torn apart. I don't know what I do with all this. I know I got to talk. Who do I talk to? I can't talk to this person. I can't talk to that person because I don't trust them. They lie, they cheat, they do this, or they drink all the time. When they drink, they get a loose run of mouth. Okay, you're right. So who do you talk to? Topeka and I are always here, but what you need is a trusted mentor. And the way that works is this: is that.
And this is before, and don't forget what you're gonna say. And this is before remembering who we hang around with is what we become.
Yes.
Right. So if you have a mentor within your social group, and your social group does not serve you, then remember what you're going to get guided with is not for your highest good.
So who's mentoring your mentor? So Topeka come to me and she's got this deep secret she's telling me, and she tells it to me, and I go, wow, that's pretty deep, Topeka. But you know what? That happened in the past, Topeka, and I know it's bothering you right now, but you know what? You've gotten over it before. Just forget about it. Just have another drink, or let's go out and do something. But you'll get over it, okay? Don't worry about it no more. Do you want somebody who's going to co-sign your BS and just pacify you? I know I didn't. So what you want is a mentor that's going to sit there and, like I said earlier, going to be empathetic with you, going to listen to you and hear you everything that you say, and it's going to help you work through the process. That's going to affirm who you are as a human being. That's going to affirm that you're not a shame ball. Okay, that affirm that you're not bad. That they're going to love you through the process. And that mentor, like Topeka says, if you guys are hanging around a bar all the time or wherever, that might not be in your immediate circle of friends. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you 99% of the time it probably is not in your immediate circle of friends. You need to find somebody that and talk to people, ask around, that you can trust. And when you start working with that person, you don't just dive into the deepest, darkest secrets you have.
I don't think it's even necessary. I think it's in listen to your intuition. I think it's necessarily it's not are you going to ask around and go, are you available? Are you available?
Well, no. That's not what I meant. Good point. No, what I'm saying is this: is let's just say that I'll give you an example that I told you earlier about being Catholic, right? That some of the people were mentoring, and this one person says that when he talked to people about us, the one thing that was very consistent that everybody said about my wife and I is that we're loving, caring, we're honest, we hold anonymity and confidentiality to the highest standard. Okay, and he talked to several people, and for him that's what he needed, and that's why they came to us. And that's what I'm talking about when you ask around. You just say Topeka and I, and you say, hey, we suggest a guy with a guy, girl with a girl, but it doesn't. I just do it. It doesn't really matter. But ask about us. Don't be afraid to talk to people about us. I know what people will say about me. Randy's hard. He's tough. He's honest. Okay, he's loving. He's tough, and he's honest. And Topeka's very loving, and believe me, Topeka's tough. She's not no cakewalk. Believe me. Okay, but that's what I mean by ask people about certain people, and then don't be afraid to just say, hey, I want to sit down and have coffee with you, and then go out and have coffee. And that's what I do. I sit down and have coffee, and I find out where they're at. And you start slowly, because we got to build that trust. Just like we were talking earlier, we got to build that trust. And Topeka, the debate that Topeka and I were having earlier was, what does trust look like? And I said, well, the trust is just what it says in the definition.
What was the definition? Do you have it up still?
Yeah, the definition of trust is that it's a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. Confidence in placing a person by making that person the normal owner of this. Okay, so that's the truth definition, and then there's other parts of the truth too that people will question.
So what do you believe that? So the debate that we were having is, the question that came up with is that what is trust to you, right? When you trust someone, what does that look like? And being really clear in that, because there's going to be times where you will feel like your trust has been broken, and it's a very fine line, because there's a difference in trust and expectation.
Very much so.
I think that if you have high expectations, that's nothing to do with trust.
And that's set a person for failure.
That's setting up a person for failure.
Yeah. And I think coming back to our discussion earlier, when you were talking about this, what is trust to you? These might just be the testing words for it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything we were talking about earlier. See, that's why I love Topeka and I have these talks all the time, and they generally come out in this. But these would be the testing words for it. It could mean a lot of stuff to you, but is a person reliable?
Truthful?
Are they truthful? Are they able?
Yeah.
Are they strong? Okay. Do they meet that criteria? It might be a lot of others in there, but that could be some of the basis for your looking at, right?
Right. I guess that the word, do their actions and their words align with who they're being with you, right? And it takes time. I think it really takes time. And even then, I think if you really look at the truth, as I was saying to Randy earlier, things, because of my old programming, things still come up for me. I was just saying to Randy, even I combine in Randy and I talk with Randy and we have very deep conversations, but I still have, because of my programming, I still have that fear. Can I really trust him? Right, but it's being aware that is my I don't know if you can tell, but there's being aware, because that's just my fear.
It's just
I do have this trust, but sometimes every once in a while this thought comes up.
Well, and
it's
you have a right to have that fear because of what's happened to you in the past.
Right.
But you know that I'm not the past, that I'm Randy, so therefore you do trust me. Mm-hmm. But I think everybody.
But a thought comes up. But don't break. I think my point in saying that is that don't jump on that bandwagon because the thought comes up. I think being aware of what the truth is. A situation might occur. Maybe I don't know, something might happen, and my trust might be compromised. But even in that conversation doesn't mean that I would terminate that friendship or that relationship or that. I'm giving you an example in terms of Randy and I, because we're having this discussion, right? But I think it's a very fine line, and really being able to talk about it.
I think it's being able to talk about it,
right? And being able to say, okay, this is how I feel.
Right.
When this and this and this and this happened.
Right.
And I'm left feeling in this way.
And then.
And only you can either acknowledge it or you don't acknowledge it, and that moves it forward, right? In that scenario between.
So if what I want don't lose that, because I want to go back to the person that's just starting this journey. That trust is going to come slowly. Like I said, we don't want to. Don't let me lose where we're at. It's important. That trust is going to come slowly, because you don't want to dive into something really deep and dark with a person right off the bat. Test them with something small. Or you want them to earn your trust. Just because a person is all that doesn't mean that they're trustworthy. Believe me, there's a lot of people in recovery that I know that I want to trust them with a little secret, let alone a dark secret. So, but
don't set them up. So there's a difference here.
Don't
because
set them up.
If we're prone to having denial patterns and control patterns, we will set people up. Because that's what we know.
Yeah, do not set a person up.
So be aware of that.
Right.
Where are you really setting people up? Where are you asking those, manipulating questions?
But a good mentor